Title: Dangerous Allure. Part 1: The Meeting. Alishia Carter had always been a woman who took charge. She walked with confidence, dressed impeccably, and had a no-nonsense approach to life. As the director of a successful tech firm, her responsibilities were challenging and demanding, and she thrived in the world of business. Love, however, had never been a priority. Alexander Pierce was a man on a mission. He had inherited a dark legacy, a criminal empire built by his father. But different from his father, he was serious about turning the tide, to wash the bloodstains from his family name. The transition from crime to legitimacy was not going to be an easy one, and he had no time for distractions, especially not women. Their worlds were distinctly separate, but fate had a way of masterminding unexpected encounters. It all came about on a warm summer evening at a high-end gala in the heart of the city. Alishia, adorned in an elegant black gown, moving effortlessly through the crowd, her sharp mind calculating her next strategic move. As she sipped on champagne, she overheard fragments of conversation, high-stakes business deals, mergers, and acquisitions. This was her element, and she felt invincible. Across the room, Alexander stood in a finely tailored tuxedo, his piercing brown eyes scanning the room with precision. He was here for one purpose: to seek potential partners who could help him complete his company's radical transformation. Women were not on his radar, they were an unnecessary distraction. As fate would have it, their paths collided near the grand staircase. Alishia, lost in thought, accidentally bumped into Alexander. The glass of champagne she held wavered dangerously, but he moved with lightning reflexes, saving it from spilling onto her dress. Their eyes met for a brief moment, and there was something in that gaze, an unspoken connection that sent shivers down Alishia's spine.
I'm terribly sorry.
Alishia said, regaining her composure.
I wasn't watching where I was going.
Alexander's voice was calm and measured.
No harm done.
As the night continued, their paths crossed again and again. Alishia found herself drawn to the enigmatic man who seemed so out of place in the world she knew. There was something mysterious about him, a dark edge that aroused her curiosity. For Alexander, Alishia was unlike any woman he had ever come across. Her intelligence, her confidence, and her allure intrigued him. Despite his resolve to avoid these types of distractions, he couldn't help but be captivated. At the end of the evening, they stood outside the gala, the city lights painting a vivid backdrop. Alishia decided to take a chance.
Do you ever take a break from work, Mr. Pierce?
Alexander arched an eyebrow.
Rarely. I'm in the midst of a challenging business transformation.
Then, how about a compromise?
Alishia suggested.
One dinner. No business talk. Just a chance to unwind.
A spark of interest ignited in Alexander's eyes. He paused for a moment before nodding.
One dinner. No business talk.
Their journey had just begun, and neither of them could predict the unexpected twists, challenges, and dangers that lay ahead. It was a collision of two worlds, business and a criminal legacy, where love was never a part of the equation. Part 2: Unveiling Secrets. Alishia and Alexander's unusual connection deepened as they began to explore their newfound bond. The night after the gala, they found themselves in a cozy, dimly lit restaurant, far from their busy work schedules. Here, business was not the focus, only the enigmatic connection they shared. Over dinner, they shared stories and learned more about each other. Alishia's life was dedicated to her tech company. Her passion for innovation was clear-cut, and she spoke passionately about her latest projects. She had a fascination with technology's potential to transform lives and an insatiable desire to succeed. Alexander, on the other hand, shared stories of his childhood and the challenges of transitioning his family's empire into a legitimate enterprise. It was a path filled with danger, but he was resolute about creating a better future for himself and his company. As the night went on, their connection intensified. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a powerful magnetic pull that neither could resist. When they finally parted ways that evening, it was with a promise to meet again. Alishia felt a swirling mix of emotions. She had never met anyone like Alexander, a man with a dark past but a resolute desire for redemption. Yet, her rational side warned her about the danger of getting involved with someone who might have a criminal past. Still, she couldn't help but be allured by him. Alexander, too, found himself charmed by Alishia. She was the definition of everything he was working towards: legitimacy, success, and a life free from the shadows of his family's criminal past. He knew that entangling her in his world could lead to trouble, but he couldn't stay away. Their meetings became more frequent. They visited art galleries, strolled through the city's parks, and found comfort in each other's presence. It was as though the world outside didn't exist when they were together. But as their love story blossomed, the shadows of their individual worlds couldn't be neglected. Alexander's efforts to revamp his company were met with fierce opposition from those who still making profits from its criminal activities. Threats and warnings came from all sides, leaving him in a constant state of vigilance. Alishia, too, faced challenges in her business. A rival tech firm was keen on undermining her projects, and she suspected corporate espionage. Her unshakable commitment to her work made her a prime target. One evening, as they walked along the city's waterfront, Alexander pulled her close. A look of worry was in his eyes.
Alishia, I need to be completely honest with you. My journey to legitimacy has put me in a vulnerable situation. There are people who will stop at nothing to prevent me from succeeding.
Alishia, who had been growing fond of Alexander, felt her heart race. She had heard rumors about his father's criminal enterprise but had chosen to believe in his transformation.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that to keep you safe, we might need to go our separate ways.
Alexander replied, pain etched on his face. Torn between her feelings for him and the rational fear of being drawn into a world of danger, Alishia realized her own conflict.
I don't want to let you go, Alexander, but I can't bear to put my work or my life in jeopardy.
As they stood there, their worlds on a collision course, neither of them could predict the explosive events that lay ahead. Their connection was undeniable, but the path they had chosen to walk was treacherous, testing the boundaries of their love and the limits of their resilience. Part 3, The Battle for Love and Salvation. Alishia and Alexander's worlds hung in a dangerous balance. Their hearts desired for each other, yet the treacherous undertow of their respective lives threatened to pull them apart. As they faced the imminent possibility of separation, an unexpected turn of events shook up their lives. One evening, Alishia received an anonymous email that contained highly confidential information about Alexander's past. The email included evidence of his family's criminal ties, casting doubt on his promise to turning the company legitimate. Alishia was torn. She didn't know whether to approach Alexander with the shocking revelation or challenge the author of the email, who seemed to have a dark agenda. The secrecy that surrounded her relationship with Alexander made her feel alone, unable to seek guidance or advice. At the same time, Alexander was faced with a growing threat to his life. He had received forewarnings that individuals within his father's criminal circle were planning to eliminate him to maintain their control on the profitable enterprise. Alexander had thought he could cruise his way through the darkness, but the dangers that lay ahead were far more menacing than he had anticipated. One evening, the city descended into chaos as a war broke out within the criminal organization that Alexander was desperately trying to distance himself from. The streets echoed with gunfire, and news of the violence spread like wildfire. Alishia watched in horror as the city she had grown to love transformed into a combat zone. Meanwhile, Alexander found himself in the crossfire. He narrowly escaped an assassination attempt but suffered a gunshot wound. Distressed and bleeding, he realized that there was only one place he could seek refuge: Alishia's apartment. When he arrived at her doorstep, blood-soaked and weak, Alishia's shock was obvious. She couldn't turn him away in his condition, despite the questions that raced through her mind. As she tended to his wounds, the truth came to light. Alexander confessed his family's criminal history, the relentless pursuit of vindication, and the menacing threats to his life. Alishia listened, her heart heavy with the weight of his confessions. The love she had found in him was unquestionable, but the danger was equally real. With a resolve that mirrored the strength that had brought them together, they decided to face the turmoil head-on. Alishia, using her tech-savvy skills, traced the source of the blackmail email, discovering that it was sent by a rival businessman, attempting to ruin Alexander's company. At the same time, Alexander decided to oppose the remaining criminals within his father's organization, seeking to end the violence and danger that had plagued him for too long. The climax of their journey played out with suspense and action. Alishia and Alexander combined their strengths and navigated the treacherous paths before them. A winner-take-all showdown occurred on multiple fronts: technological, criminal, and emotional. In the end, they emerged victorious. Alishia's tech skills outwit the rival businessmen's schemes, and Alexander's boldness and courage defeated the remaining criminals. The battle was won, but the war had left its scars. With the danger behind them, they faced their most critical decision. Could love endure the trials they had faced? As the dust settled, Alexander looked into Alishia's eyes and spoke the words that had been unsaid for too long.
Alishia, I love you, and I can't imagine my life without you.
Alishia, tears of joy sparkled in her eyes, embraced him.
I love you too, Alexander. I choose you, no matter the path ahead.
Their love had been put to the test and tempered, and it had triumphed. Their worlds had collided, and they had encountered challenges that would have torn others apart. But Alishia and Alexander had discovered a love beyond limits. The two of them, hand in hand, walked the city streets. They knew that life would still bring challenges, but together, they had proven that love could conquer all. The city landscape, once a place of danger, had now become the backdrop to their enduring love story. And as they strolled beneath the city lights, the future held no room for shortcuts or second chances. What mattered was that they had each other, and that was enough. The end.